Welcome to Bold Talk series where creativity, leadership ideas, and innovation come together. My name is Ludvik, and today I have a privilege to have a short one-on-one conversation with Jennifer Huang, founder and CEO of Hihilulu. Jennifer, great seeing you. Welcome to our Bold Talk series. How are you?
I'm perfect, and thank you for having me today.
I am perfect. Yes, that's the way. It's all about the attitude, the perfect attitude. Um, Jennifer, uh, you got an interesting name for your startup, Hihilulu. Give us an
Yeah.
overview of a Hihilulu and what made you start Hihilulu.
Okay, very personal story. Um, Hihilulu, the name itself, it is from my kids. I have twin daughters who are called Hila and Luna, and their nickname is Hihi and Lulu. So why we take this name is not because I'm obsessed mother, it's because we want to launch something for children to learn Chinese language. And somehow Hihi Lulu together as a very simple brand name. And we did a test, and people from different language background could all read it out and identify it easily that it is something to do with children. So we decided to take Hihilulu as a company name and our brand name.
Nice.
So what does Hihilulu do? I know you are going to ask me, so I'm really fast.
Yeah.
Um, we are Chinese language innovator for children to learn Chinese in completely different way. So what we offer is a new innovative solution for institutions like international schools and international kindergartens to launch Chinese program in hybrid blended way, very different to traditional language learning. That's all what we do.
Interesting. So, can you expand a little bit more on that for someone who wants to understand what that hybrid means and how's that work?
Yes, hybrid or blended is, let's say, a buzzword among edtech companies.
Mhm.
We, of course, as an edtech company, we have everything digital. We have app and also web-based platform for our institutional clients. However, in reality, for young children, we're talking about the 3 to 12-year-old kids, they need to touch, feel, sense, and have interaction with human being and objects. The way I'm talking about that, almost like a introduction to Montessori methodology, right? But actually, it's true because young children cannot learn language only online digitally. They need the physical, tangible touch and interaction. So that is why it's called hybrid and or blended new way of learning. So in line with this new philosophy, we have based on our own digital creation app, the digital platform, we have also supportive complementary physical materials in line with our online content. And like this, our Chinese programs are conducted by teacher in an extremely different way. It is mixed by using online material and physical material in classroom. And the same situation applies to students at home as well. So they have both online access to our digital sophisticated comprehensive system, but also physical material support. They even have to write Chinese character on their exercise book sheet, not only through touchscreen. So like this is a very balanced hybrid way of learning this language.
Is any platform is doing the same thing like what you're doing, and if there is, how are you different from them?
Well, sure, there are so many Chinese language teaching, let's say, system, proficiency assessment system, and there are a lot of systematic textbooks from China, for example, from Taiwan, from Hong Kong. And if you go to App Store, you will see tons of apps, right? Chinese learning Chinese. So why Hihilulu is different? First of all, we focus on young children, 3 to 12-year-old. because this is a golden age for any human being to acquire a language, especially for many people who would think, oh, Chinese is so difficult. But to a young child, there's no difficult language. They acquire language differently to us adults. So that's the first difference we have. We focus on the early age. Secondly, particularly for this age group, you have to adapt different methodology for them to learn Chinese. So we are very unique in terms of pedagogy. We apply a pedagogy called dualism, which respect the characteristics of Chinese language and treat the oral communication completely different to the literacy learning, meaning character learning based reading and writing. And to arrive there, we use a very, very special methodology called the snowballing method, which is invented by our academic advisor, Professor Jules Belleson, who is the #1 sinologist in France and is the Honorable General Inspector of Education Ministry in France. He had invented a very special method which basically dismantle all the Chinese characters to over 200 components. He called them components, but in traditional Chinese teaching, it's called radicals. And he dismantled all Chinese characters to over 200 radicals. And those radicals or components are treated as building block to learn the character. And
like
then
Lego,
from character,
like Lego type.
yes, exactly. And then from the character, it goes to the word, phrases, whatever. That's why his method is called snowballing, because it is a very logic linear way, very efficient to learn from the component to the extension. So we take this approach and work with him through years to choose 125 components from his system and digitalize them completely, and then let them to become the building block of the vocabulary that we had identified for young children. So basically, we transformed a very unique, efficient learning method into a digitalized solution. And to help our customers and learners to learn efficiently, we developed, therefore, digital solution together with physical solutions as well. And that's why we have customers like Montessori a lot, because the whole, I mentioned the hybrid method plus this very vivid, visualized snowballing method is exactly in line with their multilingual education philosophy. So we are very confident about the uniqueness as a solution, what we offer on the market. That makes us very, very different to all the other players. We are the only one for the time being, systematically applying this method into a digitalization. And then on top of that, we offer training to teacher to let them learn the differentiation of this pedagogy and how this should be applied in the classroom.
Yeah. Well, this unique unique selling proposition is what gives you an edge in today's competitor marketplace.
Sure. Our slogan is, it's a complete new way for children to learn Chinese with just 125 components.
Yeah.
It is true.
Now, what role do you believe innovation plays in driving growth and staying competitive?
Well, I think innovation is the key driving force for anything revolutionary, right? And if we do not take what we have taken is, let's say, a marriage of innovative conceptual method married with digital technology. We use all kinds of digital technology from the, let's say, voice enhanced AI feature, which is for the automatic contextual voice training. You know, we have speech training. We use AI enhanced feature to some very fundamental technical application like H5 gamified content and so on and so on. And now with, for example, generative AI, which is a big topic for all edtech company, this will drive content platform we are, right, to completely another level. And it will make sure the learner could really have a very personalized, very fun, creative, but interactive learning experience that could really help the learner learn very different
Mm.
from previous traditional way.
Jennifer, growth is always required in the organization and business, but growth comes when you try new things, not just doing the same thing over and over. What is your approach to failure when trying new things?
Well, we have to accept that there's always failures. Each day we make so many decisions at a startup, right? 50% will be proven wrong, just few days or very shortly. It's the norm of the business. So but most important is if it's a failure, you have to accept it and then learn out of it and then adapt it right away into your strategy and operation. That's the only way you could survive. So, for example, in our case, we had been forced to pivot twice because we learned that our first alpha version missing something fundamentally required by the user. So it is a big failure, and we learned it, and then right away went back to the iterate the product. There's no other way. And the second pivot we did is when we realized what's the best way to monetize it, we decided right away. Yes, we learned from our failure, and we focus on the right monetization model and the right target and the right integrated channel and operation and improve. So that is the only way to help you to grow into the clearly identified market. Otherwise, if you cannot learn from the failure and mistakes, you do the same thing, and well, that doesn't help.
Yeah,
We learned it also very hard from our growth phase now, that from our previous simple operation to a multiple channel integrated and each channel tested and then mixed together in the most efficient combination. There are so many things that could lead to failure, but also very useful learning curves so that you will be better, faster, you know.
yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, speed is something that is required in this environment.
Yeah,
You talked about pivoting, and it's not easy to do it, but when you do
yeah,
it,
yeah.
there is always that you need to look at balance between a short-term uh,
Hmm.
innovation
Yeah,
goals and long-term strategic objectives.
yes.
How do you balance that?
Very tough. First of all, I think the most important thing is that um, the startup's culture. I really think it's very important, and the personnel.
Mm.
So you have to align your team. If everyone realizes that is a mistake or failure, how we could climb out of that and learn and then move forward together. It's very important. I remember each of our pivoting moment, we had a serious discussion, brainstorming with everybody. We have to align everyone together. We have to debate and agree what would be the next. And then we agree that a timeline, how to commit us there and how we can survive till then. So this is very important. From in our case, without the team commitment and agreement, we
Yeah,
can't.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's a business is it's a team sport in a way, right? It's
Yes.
you know
Yeah.
you got to get the team aligned even in the most difficult time. Even if you're losing,
Yes. Yes.
in a high
Yes.
score, you still got to keep showing up and just
Yeah.
persevere and keep pushing. It's
Yeah.
it's it's always easier said than done for a lot of entrepreneurs. A lot of
Yeah,
entrepreneurs, they go through a lot of cycles, which
yeah,
sometimes it's not being talked about
yes,
much. We always
yeah,
just talk in the surface, but like
yeah,
what the entrepreneurs go through every single day,
yes, yeah, yeah,
it's very difficult. And so I know exactly what it is, especially
yeah,
in the space you're in education. Now,
yes.
Jennifer, because we're running out of time, this is a short format conversation. What
Mhm.
does bold mean to you, the word bold?
Bold means brave, and risk-taking, and encouragement, you know, all of this. But bold doesn't mean that you're blindly self-indulged. Bold means that you are able to think out of box and act differently. That is bold. And I think there's always good reward to a right boldness.
Yeah, very well said. You know, I've been saying this, especially in this day and age. uh, the courage today is not just to go and learn new things, but an ability to unlearn the wrong things that we learned throughout the
Yes.
years and get rid of that and learn something
Yes,
new.
yes, yes. It's
And
very challenging because we are all human beings. We are all having our own comfort zone. And bold means deny, self-deny. It is painful. And for entrepreneur, this is the number one qualification you should have. Otherwise, you cannot succeed.
yeah,
Yeah.
well said. You mentioned earlier that about what the golden age of is 10 to 12 years old to learn a language. Is that right?
3 to 12.
3 to
And
12.
even more important, 1 to 3, it's the cumulative quantitative input and output period. That is
Okay.
even more important, but it's hard to be, let's say, taught by an external element. So a real learning of, purposeful learning can be pushed to kids from 3 to 12.
Yeah. How can one like me be a kid at 3 to 12 years old learning? That's always
Well, yeah, we have to be selective with content which is pushed to you
yeah.
with a little bit older
That's
learners.
that's we'll leave it with that. That's a great way to end it. Looking forward to have
Yes.
another great conversation on that. There's a lot that we can talk about that. Jennifer, always be bold. Congrats on your achievement and persevering, pushing forward in the edtech space. Thank you for joining me in this Bold Talk series and look forward to seeing you again soon. Until next time, take care, be great, and be bold always. God bless.
Thank you so much, Abby. See you next time.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.